My favorite was Colin, only because I got a soft spot for like kind of nerdy, quiet guys. They're always the wild ones.
They say it's spread by poppers. They say it arrived from outer space on a comet. And they say that God created it to strike us dead. They say it was created in a laboratory to kill us. They say it's the Russians. They say we got it from the jungle. They say it's caused by friction. They say it's in the sun. They say Freddie Laker spread it when he introduced cheap flights. They say there's one patient zero spreading it wherever he goes. They say it affects homosexuals, patients, and haemophiliacs. Like, there's a disease which has targeted the letter H. Who's it gonna get next? People from Hartlepool, and Hampshire, and Hull. Don't you see what all of these things have got in common? They're not true!
It's a sin from 81 to 91, what it was like in the UK with the epidemic looming and coming in, and what people thought, what they didn't believe, what they did. It's interesting to me how many people that I know who are long-term survivors who were very triggered by this show. A good friend of mine, Mark S. King, wrote a huge blog about the show wants to blame us for the spread of AIDS. I didn't get that from the show. To me, it seemed like a very accurate snapshot of how people thought. For the people who lived through that time period, it was fun. You know, it was dangerous and all of those things, but we didn't know it was dangerous. It was fun. It was a continuation of that liberation that happened in the 70s. You met somebody, you had sex with them, and, you know, so many men, so little time. It was all of those things.
Can I leave these with you?
Oh, for God's sake, don't be so stupid. Grizzle, he's doing it again, we're being victimised.
You should read this stuff.
And this stuff's gonna drive people away.
It's all true, every word of it.
Listen, my father preaches Armageddon every Sunday afternoon, and every Monday morning I wake up still alive. Go!
It's by Russell T Davies, who captures in a really vivid way the realities of that time, both in the fear and the lack of information, and the sense that it's happening somewhere else. So much of what's lost of that time is the fun and the community and the love and the sex and the joy that was so often stigmatized or shamed, right? So I do think, like, I love that about this show, that it kind of brings those two things to the table.
It was more fun when it was illegal.
But what about your neighbors? Did they know about you?
No. We are secret. When I leave the house, I dress like a lady.
Stop it. The official history of the world says that men like us have always been hidden away in secret, but then there's the real world where we've been living together for all this time.
I think the casting was brilliant on this. Like, I believed all of the characters.
You making friends?
Yeah.
They know lucky they might say. What you do, go for drinks?
We're out tonight, you two. We're going to see that cannonball run.
My favorite was Colin, only because I got a soft spot for like kind of nerdy, quiet guys. They're always the wild ones.
Because that's what shame does, Valerie. The wards are full of men who think they deserve it. And a little bit of them thinks, I brought this on myself because the sex that I love is killing me. The perfect virus came along to prove you right.
She says that there are people dying who believe just a little bit that it's their own fault, that they brought this on themselves. And I'm from that generation. I felt that way when I found out. I really, truly did, that I brought this on myself, that I shouldn't have been having sex, even though I was practicing safe sex. I will say, if I had to do it all over again or whatever, I don't think that I would change anything. I've learned it's important to use your voice. So I've stood up for people who can't speak, and I've advocated for change. I am a person who lives with HIV, and that I'm proud of the work that I do and what it is that I stand for.
I'm sorry, darling. He's gone.
Okay. Oh, bless him. I'm so sorry.
He's gone.
I think for me, the only thing that I ever qualify about this show is that everybody who's HIV positive on the show dies. There were many members of the community who in that first wave have gone on to live and have gone on to lead happy, healthy lives. And I wish in some ways that some of the characters had survived the end of the narrative, because I feel like that is something that we necessarily haven't seen.
As a person who is living with HIV, and I'm considered to be a long-term survivor at this moment, if those stories do get made, one of the things that I would love them to touch upon is survivors' guilt. For those who are still here, they've watched a lot of their friends die, and I question myself sometimes, like, why am I still here?
I really must be dying.
Oh, Gladys, don't.
Oh, is Devon make hair today?
Did they say we had a meeting of the Pink Palace? We said we can't have your mum paying the rent, and we refuse to move anyone else in. Never. But Ash can pay a bit more, and Jill, and I'll get myself some bar work, so your bed's still there for when you come home.
I do miss you.
We miss you.
We really do.
Rather than this being a story about a singular queer person needing their straight family to take them in, this was about reclaiming that story and situating it within the community itself and kind of very clearly showcasing how friend groups were the families who would, feed and bathe and do all of the hard stuff because of all the stigma around the virus, but also all of the stigma around sexuality. This show made an active attempt to really tell those stories and to show the beauty of those friendships and the beauty of the community and be sex positive about it and not shameful. It's going back and having a chance to really tell the stories as they were.